Welcome back. Thank you so much for making it this far along in Parashat Vayigash. We're going to say just a quick D'var Torah. I don't know how quick. We're going to say a quick D'var Torah on the Parashat just to enhance maybe our Shabbat, just to bring something to the table. We mentioned that Yosef HaSadiq, before revealing himself to the brothers and telling them he's Yosef, he says, Hotzi'u kol ish me'alai. He kicked all the Egyptians out of the room. Why? Says the Midrash on Huma, Amar Bishimuel bar Nahman, the Sakana Gedolah yarad Yosef. Yosef, you shouldn't have done that. Yehuda alone could have got rid of you. Yehuda is very strong. Why'd you do that? She'im haragu ehav em beriya ba'olam makiro. Listen, Yosef, nobody knows you in Mitzrayim. They're going to kill you? I mean, nobody cares about you. Why'd you put yourself in sakana? Lama amar hotziu kol ish me'alai. Why did he do that? Elakach amar Yosef bilibo. Yosef said, mutab she'eh hareg velo abayesh et ahai bifnei ha-mitzrim. Yosef said, it's a very simple calculation. It's better for me to die than not embarrass my brothers in front of the Mitzrim. In fact, he says, Yeshuna elai vaigashu. Not only that he kicked everybody out, he says, come close to me. Why come close to me? Because in case somebody's eavesdropping, how much Yosef HaSadiq made sure not to embarrass and to give the ultimate kabod to his brothers. And I saw a beautiful idea from the Sefer Adeh Zahav, the Gaon Rabbi Ezra Dangur, the rabbi of Baghdad. He says, in Parashat Miketz, when Yosef sends his son to go and get the brothers back, it says in the pasuk, "V'isagtam ve'amarta aleim." Catch them and tell them. What does it mean, catch them and tell them? You're sending your son to obviously tell them something. So why does the pasuk say ve'amarta aleim? No. He says, catch them and make sure they come close to you because you never know who's in the desert listening. So much Yosef HaSadiq went out of his way to make sure his brothers would not be embarrassed, even amongst foreigners, people that don't know them. But he had the ultimate kavod, ultimate ahaba, ultimate respect for his brothers. He didn't want his brothers to be very embarrassed. There was a ma'aseh with Rabbi Yehuda Sadka alav shalom, the Rosh Yeshiva Parat Yosef. He called a student to come over to him, to his house, to test him for a mifhan of Rabbanut that he had. And then he said, you know what? It's not good over here. Let's leave my house. Let's go to the yeshiva. He goes to the yeshiva, to a place where there's nobody there, totally empty space, and then he tested the student. Then when he leaves, the students asked Rabbi Yehuda Sadka, what did you do? Why did you have to go schlep the whole thing? You're an old man. Why'd you have to do that? He says, because what if I asked him a question and he didn't know the answer? He would be embarrassed. I don't know who's around. I don't know who's listening. I should have him get embarrassed in front of people. Yes, they don't know him. They don't know what he's doing here. Okay, so you're going to say, okay, you don't know the answer. What's the big deal? You might say it's not a big deal, but in my eyes, it's a very big deal for a person to be embarrassed. How much we have to make sure, just like Yosef HaSadiq, he made sure for his brothers not to be embarrassed. How much we have to make sure that we don't embarrass a Yehudi. No, I'm not saying that you want to embarrass somebody, make sure there's nobody around. Never. We don't embarrass a Yehudi. We don't shafech damim to Yehudi. Where did Yosef learn this from? Yosef learned it from his mother, Rahel. What did Rahel do? She gave the simanim to Leah, for Leah not to be embarrassed. We know Leah did that. Leah did that. Tamar, look at Tamar. Tamar, the Midrash is unbelievable. If you look at the Targum bin Uziel, he says that Tamar was praying. She lost the items first. And she was praying, Hashem, please help me find the items. I don't want to embarrass him. And even after she found the items, she didn't say, Yehuda, you are the guy that I had the relationship with. She says, I don't know. These are the items. Maybe you know who these items belong to. And Yehuda Tamar made a calculation. She said, I'd rather jump in the fire after Yehuda said, Hotzi'u v'tisaref. I'd rather jump in the fire. So like the Gemara says, Mutav sheyepil adam atzmo lekivshana esh ve'al yalbin penei habero barabim. It's better for her to jump in the fire, not to embarrass another person, barabim. And Hashem gave her a midah keneged midah, by the way. From Tamar came out three, who, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, which threw themselves in the fire on Mesirut Nefesh for Hashem. Midah keneged midah. So you don't go wrong by not embarrassing a person. You have to do your utmost to make sure that a person is spared from bizayon. I'll read you what the Rabbeinu Yonah says in Sha'aret Teshubah, Sha'ar Gimel Ot Kof Lametet. He says there's something called abak retziha, which is the dust of murder. And what is that? Halbanat panim. See, sometimes we think, okay, what's the big deal? Especially today with bar minan, the technology that's so rampant and the social media and everything. So we put a comment, we put a picture, they're called memes today and GIFs and whatever it is. We send videos. Oh, it's not a big deal. So I made fun of the guy, how he dresses, how he looks like, what he said. No. That's abak ritziha. Says Rabbeinu Yonah in Sha'ar Teshuvah, that's called the dust of ritziha. You're actually killing the guy. You're having the blood rush to his face, and he looks all red because of that. And then azal sumka ve'ata hivara, and then he becomes all white. Says the Gemara. No, you're embarrassing the guy. That's abak ritziha. I tell you, the Samak says Sefer Mizot Katan. He says, but the chuppah, really, the hatan is supposed to say all the sheva barachot. So why does the rabbi say it? Because so not to embarrass the hatan. Maybe he doesn't know the berachot, and not to embarrass him in front of everybody. So even if you're a rabbi, you're getting married, you're a rabbi, you have a kollel, and everybody knows you, and they know that you know the Sheva Barachot by heart. No. Universal, across the board, the rabbi says it for the hatan, no matter who he is. Why? Just not to embarrass maybe that guy that doesn't know. I don't know how much he knows. Just not to embarrass him. They say a story about the Noda Bihuda, Rabbi Haskell Landau, alav shalom. When he got the position to be the rabbi of Prague, he noticed that they had a custom that when the people went up to Sefer Torah, they didn't know the berachot by heart, Asher b'harbanim kol amim, and then Tinat Torah, they didn't know by heart, and they used to request from the gabbai or from the person reading, give me a siddur. And Rabbi Haskell Landau, he felt so embarrassed for those people that had to be ashamed in front of everybody else that they didn't know the berachot needed siddur. So the first time they invited him up for the Sefer Torah, he says, I don't know the berachot by heart. I need a siddur. So everybody started rumors. Oh my God, who did we get as the rabbi of the town? This rabbi that doesn't know the berachot by heart. He knew the berachot by heart, but he did it purposely because. So I want to establish it from now on. Everybody has a siddur. Why? Not to embarrass that guy that has to ask for a siddur and be embarrassed in front of everybody and mock that he doesn't know the berachot by heart. How much we have to strive to make sure a person's not embarrassed. Says the Gemara, Masechet Sota, Daf Mem. Birkat Kohanim, everybody takes their shoes off. Why? Because maybe that guy that has shoes and he's going to go up, but his shoelaces are ripped or his shoes are ripped. He's going to be embarrassed and not do Birkat Kohanim. And when they're going to say, oh, you know the reason why he doesn't want to do Birkat Kohanim? He might be not a real Kohen, he might have sin on somebody else. Any outside reasons? So the Gemara says, no Kohen goes up to the Dukhan with Na'alaim. Unbelievable. The Gemara has so much respect and so much sensitivity not to embarrass a person. You know, the Torah says that there was something etzada'at. We don't know what the etzada'at was. The Gemara says either there was trog or te'ena or rimon or gefen or whatever it was. Why doesn't the Torah say what the etzada'at was? Spare us some time. Let us know what the etzada'at was. But Olam says, I'm not going to embarrass all the trees in the world. Because you might be walking next to, let's say the Torah said it was an etrog tree. Okay? You're walking next to an etrog tree, says, unbelievable. This is the etrog tree. It started all the problems in the world. Borei Olam says, I'm not embarrassing any tree in the world. Borei Olam, it's a tree. Tree doesn't care. So it's embarrass the tree. No. Hashem says, it's not about the tree per se. It's for you to have sensitivity towards everything, even innate objects, even objects that are not, they don't have any feelings, just to get used to yourself, that not to embarrass anything. And I'd like to end off with this. There was a story, this is brought down in the Sefer D'var Torah l'Maharsham. You know, there's a baracha, Baruch Meshaneh HaBeriyot. Which means if you see something very odd, peculiar, something very strange, there's a baracha. I don't know what the ramifications are really, halachic-wise, but if you see something out of the ordinary, you say Baruch Meshaneh HaBeriyot. So there was a person that he heard that there was a dwarf that lived in the town. And he said, oh, this is a perfect opportunity to go and make the baracha, Baruch Meshaneh HaBeriyot. So he goes, he takes his wagon, he finally gets to that dwarf, he looks at the dwarf, he picks him up in front of everybody and says, Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam Meshaneh HaBeriyot. He says the baracha, he feels so good about himself. Little does he realize that he's running just to make this baracha, but he went against the oraita of embarrassing another person. Lo tirzach, says Rabbeinu Yonah, abak retziha, embarrassing, dust of killing, of murder, is embarrassing a person. So yeah, he wanted to make a baracha on Baruch Meshaneh HaBeriyot. What do you do? See, this is just a story I bring you because sometimes in life, that's what we do sometimes. We're so adamant on making a baracha and doing the right thing and going beyond the letter of the law. But what are we doing sometimes? We block people's driveways because we want to make netz minyan. But the guy is honking, he has to take his kids to school. And then we have the audacity, I'm talking about myself, Hazrat Shalom, I'm not saying anybody else. I have the audacity to go and to yell at him, hey, okay, I was praying, and embarrass him. You know what you did? That's abak retziha. That's embarrassing a person. That's lack of derech eretz. So we have to weigh. We have to always have a balance in the world. What's important in Borei Olam's eyes? We just established in Borei Olam's eyes. We see it from Yosef, from Rachel, from Tamar, and the replete so many stories from Etz Da'at that we have to have more sensitivity, more love, more ahava, and more derech eretz, and more respect for our fellow Jew, and just in general, just to custom ourselves and to regulate ourselves to find that sensitivity in everybody. And Ba'adat Hashem, may Borei Olam see that we're working on Ahabat Israel. Like Borei Olam told Yosef, don't worry, you went out to Mitzrayim, says Midrash, you went out to Mitzrayim, but in the end of the day, they came out. So too Borei Olam, may He take us out of this galut, Ba'adat Hashem, very speedily. May we see the rebuilding of Beit Mikdash. I hope you all, I hope you all gained some knowledge. I know I did, and some insights from this time we spent together. I thank you so much, and I hope you have a Shabbat Shalom.